like I said, NGP was founded in 1935 by Charles Smith. They have a 180,000 square foot manufacturing facility. It was 100,000 square feet in the beginning, but they added additional square footage to allow for their steel products, their louvers, and also glass. And now they have 286 employees. They're working 2 shifts. Recently, there were some changes to those shifts due to the state of America, but they're now back up and running, and soon to have lead times back to the way that they were at a normal state. So they produce over 3,000 items. They're all made to order. They're all made right there at Memphis. These guys are a 5-time winner of the best workplaces in Memphis from 2014 to 2019. These guys take a lot of pride in their customers. They take a lot of pride in being one of the top workplaces in Memphis. And it just will go to show as we move through this presentation that not only are they one of the best workplaces in America, but also they bring that value to their customers every day, not only with customer service, but also with the products that they put out, and ending with shipping, delivery, and troubleshooting, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about some of the value streams that NGP has to offer, starting with aluminum, their standard thresholds, gasketting, that sort of thing. We're going to move into steel, their light kits and their louvers, their track hardware, the sliding solutions that they just started offering. One of the things that most people hardly notice, but that they offer are continuous hinges, and they do a really good job with their continuous hinge piece. And so maybe by showing you guys some of those pieces, you can give them a chance. And then lastly, GapGuard. Gap solutions have become really popular around hospitals and schools. Doors that are out of compliance, that no longer meet fire door regulations, are now able to be put into regulation with GapGuard due to the gap solution at the head of the door, the gap solution at the frame, and then the gap solution at the foot of the door. So NGP, they made a strategic acquisition of Jordan Aluminum. They were acquired in 2010. They have a really big manufacturing facility, 300,000 square feet, with over 150 employees. But the most important thing that I think that you guys should take from this is, instead of having to purchase that material out from somebody else, from another company, NGP is taking the steps to be innovative and to lead other companies by acquiring their own aluminum company, extruding their own, designing their own, anodizing, and painting their own aluminum, which gives them a very unique advantage over other manufacturers on the same platform as them. And it kind of makes them second to none. They are able to design any product. They can customize anything for you, and they can do all of that without having to get rid of the great lead times that they offer. They're a family-owned business and operated. The benefit of that is they take it personally, not only with how they interact with their customers, but also how they present themselves to you via sales rep agencies, and also through customer service and putting their product on your job site. They are a service business, and they exist literally to serve their customers. Anything that is requested of NGP, it's pretty hard for them to say no, whether it be an expedite request, whether it be a customization request, whether it be a solution that no one else has an answer for. These guys are willing to go out and make a difference by trying to innovate and design around any problem that's out there. They invest in their business, not only through their people or their operations and technology, but also their products by bringing new products to the table. Different offerings such as sliding hardware, pocket door hardware, changing the way that people are putting those products on the shelves, by overloading with the parts that you may need but not know that you need, being able to lower the SKUs that you have on your shelf. So the 5 value streams, we'll go over them again, you know, whether you know the product or not, but the base for those guys are aluminum, thresholds, gasketting, door bottoms, which is what everyone knows NGP for. But that's not the only thing that they are. I mean, aluminum makes up a really big part of their business, but something that's taken a nice footing with their business is steel, light kits and louvers and glass. These guys can do lead line glass, bullet resistant glass. They can do custom louvers. They can do custom light kits. They just have to know what it is that the customer's desiring. Their hinge business, aluminum continuous geared hinges and stainless steel pin and barrel hinges. Again, it's a value stream that is little known with NGP, but they've had it around for about 5 to 10 years, and it's something that they're trying to put out there. So if you guys have an opportunity with hinges, send it my way. Sliding door hardware. We're going to get really involved in the sliding door hardware today when doing this training piece, but they offer a stainless steel barn deck track, an aluminum multifamily, and an aluminum commercial track. Their aluminum commercial track is up to 250 pounds. You see a lot of manufacturers offer, you know, a 75, a 100, a 125, and then a 250, but NGP, instead of doing something like that, they just went ahead and made a 250 pound track that's commercially rated, that's BHMA grade 1. They're the only company that has that standard, and the price is very aggressive. So give them a shot. Aluminum multifamily, it's rated up to 75 pounds instead of doing the 25, 40, 50 pound track. They just do it all in one. Again, it's 75 pounds. They know that they have to compete with the lower tier tracks, but they're willing to do that. They're willing to do that because they want to offer one SKU and low inventory for their customers. Their stainless steel barn track, instead of being a welded wheel at the top, they went ahead and made it one solid piece. So we'll see that here in a little while, and I'll explain that a little bit more. But it's something that's different. It's something that's better. It's something that doesn't fail, and it's beautiful. Their Gap Guard, Gap 90, the 9590, and the 9990. These guys used to only offer the Gap solution, where they had the Gap 90 that went all the way around the door, or all the way around the frame rather, but it presented a problem with hardware installation. So instead of just saying, well, you're going to have to work around it, they started to innovate other products to where they work around that issue that customers were having, and they invented the 9590, which can handle up to a 3/8 inch gap at the top of the door. So whenever you have doors that sag, you have doors that have been cut down at the top because hinges have been off, you have doors that have all sorts of problems due to construction. 9590 and the 9990 are ways that you can reroute those problems, if you will, and really make it to where you have a door that meets the gap and also is back to being aesthetically pleasing in the opening. So going into NGP's customer experience, these guys have a lead time that is second to none. 97% of their catalog shipped within 5 to 7 days. Now, mind you, that due to coronavirus and demand and that sort of thing, having to lower employment because of coronavirus, we have seen that 5 to 7 days kind of got pushed out a little bit. But they're about 1 to 2 weeks away from being back to their average, to where 97% of their catalog is shipping 5 to 7 days. Some of their customized stuff is also shipping after approvals within that same 7 to 10 day window. But if you look at it, their average lead times from 2015 to 2020 have been moving in the downward direction. And that's due to what these guys have done as far as their customer service is concerned. These guys have outreach that is only improving, where you see other manufacturers, they're lowering their customer service associates. NGP is actually raising their associates. They're proactive. If they have an order that's within $100 of meeting freight minimum, they're going to give you a call. Other manufacturers are just going to ship it out and say, oh, well, and force you to pay that freight. Whereas NGP, they're not going to do that. These guys are going to call you. They're going to interact with you. They're going to tell you that there's a problem, and they're going to allow you the opportunity to fix that problem before you're having to file customer service later on. So the same thing. If an order is small and contains 96 items, they'll give you a call, and they'll say, hey, do you want to add this? Do you want to do that? They'll make it to where it's a value to you to get those items that you need, and also within the price that you are looking for. These guys are experts. They have 12 years of experience on average, and they've been trained through DHI. They have their own factory training. These guys take the time to hold sales trainings. They do all of that to improve the customer experience, to improve the sales experience, to improve your experience in order to not only get what you're wanting, but also be happy about getting gas, getting the thresholds. One of the new things that they've put out there is online ordering. The top 400 items are going to be displayed for your use. If you sign in, you'll have your pricing. You can extend that pricing out. You can quote right there from their portal. But something that I find is very cool is you can start doing submittals and searching for products. Something that I did this morning on another project is cross-referencing competitors' numbers to NGPs. Instead of being able to put in a standard threshold and saying, okay, the chemical equivalent is this standard threshold. Once you put in that cross-reference and you say, I'm cross-referencing NGP to one of the other manufacturers that are on the same platform, it'll give you a whole list of what the offering is, and it will cross-reference all the products, or for the most part, all their products, and give you the ability to just run through the list, write down what you need, and move on. Something else that's really cool, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you're able to track your orders without having to sign in. So if you have your order number or purchase order number, it's very easy to just select track your order, and there you go. If you want to be a little bit more involved in the process of what you have, getting quotes, looking at your acknowledgments, trying to track down your order and find out where it is in the process, or even looking at invoices so you can pay NGP and that sort of thing, or dispute an invoice. You can definitely sign in. Every customer is provided with their own PIN code and customer number. If you don't have that, please reach out to me and we can provide that for you. And also, just yesterday, I was told that if there's something else that you would like added to the login screen from NGP, let them know. Let us know, and we can do that for you. These guys aren't the type of company that's going to do it. It is the way that it is. They're going to take your information and they're going to implement it in a way that it helps you be more successful. So some of their old stuff. Back to the value stream, aluminum. Some of the old stuff they have, their thresholds, gasketing, door bottoms. It's part of their the overall, but something that you might not have known about with their old stuff is they also do specialty products. We're not going to go over every one of the specialty products because we don't have all day. Everybody has a job and we need to get back to work. But keep in mind that these guys do offer things that can really put you ahead in the market, such as finger guards. NGP, the spring that they use in their finger guard is top notch. It's not a cheesy piece of plastic or something like that that you find with other manufacturers. They do have a plastic model, but it's better. They have an aluminum product, but it's better. So in schools, child development centers, and hospitals, where customers are pinching their fingers and things like that, finger guards are a really big benefit. They also offer flood shields. I think that we had a flood in Boulder not long ago, or something along those lines. And flood shields, these sort of things at doors, they can help. It's not very prominent here in our area where I live, but they do offer things such as flood shields, finger guards that could help on a day-to-day. One of the old things that they have, but it is a specialty product, the SIA or Slick It 8 threshold. It's the coating that they put on the threshold that everyone has become familiar with since I think the 80s. But it's a finish that is better than what you find in some of the other manufacturers, and that's something that that they offer with their finishing line and that sort of thing. But also ramp assemblies, fully customizable. If you have a problem that you don't have a solution for, especially with thresholds, if you have a certain kind of decline or a certain type of interference, I guess, that would require a ramp assembly, these guys will fully customize that and make it to where you guys are successful. They will send out to you design drawings for your approval. Once those are approved, they'll give you a lead time and get those things on your project. Something that you might not have seen with these guys are integral blinds. These guys do offer the L Mini blind or the integral blind. That's really cool, and especially in hospitals where you have patient rooms that customers want some sort of privacy, but also nurses want to be able to observe their patients while also giving them that privacy. We have the blinds that can help them do that, and especially now in a time of coronavirus, where you don't want to go into a patient's room unless you have to, or patient's family want to see the patient, but they can't go into the room. We now have the ability, or can provide the ability, to allow for that. So if you have a project that needs something along these lines, let me know. Bullet-resistant glass and lead-lined glass, as stated in earlier comments, these guys offer tempered glass, the wire glass, bullet-resistant glass, lead-lined glass. They have the ability to provide all sorts of things for you guys that most manufacturers will not be able to provide. So some of their new stuff that's out there, sliding door hardware. They started this offering in 2018 and rolled it out last year, I guess this year. Stainless steel sliding door hardware, and their aluminum sliding door hardware. As I told you earlier, the stainless steel portion is 220-pound capacity. It's easy to install, and it's grade 1 DHMA certified. No other sliding door hardware has that same certification, and it's designer friendly. So some of the benefits of these guys, it's 304 stainless steel. They have it on cast hangers instead of welded hangers. As I said earlier, the welded hangers, what they found is at that weld, it created a weak spot, And instead of doing that, putting those hangers on a weld, they decided to cast those hangers, and it's gotten rid of that issue. Um, as stated before, they're grade 1 certified. That is with the soft close. It's rated at BHMA grade 1. It has been through 100,000 cycle test. These guys are have been approved by some of the major hotels. Marriott and Hilton there in Memphis actually helped with you know, designing those products to where it could be a benefit to other hotels, and they have been approved by some of the biggest hotel chains. I mean, Marriott and Hilton. The accessories are installer friendly. Instead of asking about the size of the doors, the weight capacity of the doors, they just put it all in the bag. The only thing that they'll ask you for is if it is side hung, the length of the door, and things like that. So they're aluminum sliding door hardware. They simplified everything for you. They created a 250-pound and a 75-pound. One is the commercial, one is the residential or multifamily, and all they ask is that you let them know that you're using the commercial. You don't have to tell them the weight that you need, or the multifamily, and they'll do it all for you. They put in the bag for you all the proper accessories that you'll need, instead of having to ask all the questions whether you need soft close and all that. They're just going to put it in the bag for you. As stated here, Universal Hardware. So in the hardware pack, they have everything included for you to be able to handle the installation. A simple portfolio built around 2 categories, just like I said earlier, multifamily and commercial. It reduces your inventory, it reduces the SKUs, and in their pocket door portion of this, they have put in modular stud walls where most of the time you'll have to say, well, I have a 7-foot door, or maybe I have a 6'8" door, I have an 8-foot door. Instead of having to do all the guesswork and trying to decide what I have and what your job site has, maybe you think that you need an 8-foot, but actually it was a 7-foot. Instead of having to deal with all that, these guys put in a modular wall stud to where it will accommodate up to 8 feet. Again, it's grade 1 certified, and all that you have to let those guys know in the multifamily, just tell them multifamily and that it's bypass, or that it's a pocket door. If it's commercial, let them know I have a sidewall mount or bypass or biparting, and they'll do the rest for you. They'll put all the accessories in for you, and the only thing that you have to do is install the material. If you look at the pocket door kit, you can see the modular studs that are in here. They make it very simple. They show you where to install for certain opening sizes in the pocket door kit, and they offer in here, or they include in here, the studs that will allow you to go up to 8 feet. So getting into gap solutions, this is the last portion of the value stream and the last portion of the presentation. But Gap Guard, the Gap 90, the 9990, and the 9590. This solution here again will allow you to close the gap at the frame if you have a door that's either too wide or out of square. It will allow you to close the gap at the head if you have a door that has sunk, or if you have a door that was shaved at the top due to a frame that's out. And the 9590, if you have a customer that once had to have that big gap at the bottom of the door due to changes in pressures and sorts, things like that, if they need to make that change, you now have the ability to conceal that gap and to restore it back to where you initially needed it. So here's a installed view of the Gap 90. This is UL certified, and it will fix clearances that are between an eighth and up to a 5/16 gap. So as you see with this, I mean, once this material is painted, it becomes part of the frame, but it will eliminate that gap that was once created by a door being out of square, something along those lines. It's 90-minute rated, and it's important to note that it's 90-minute rated. And it's 4 doors that are wood or hollow metal that are 90-minute rated and below. So 90, 60, 45 minute. It's certified for on-site modifications. So if you need to modify it around a rim exit device strike, you can do that. Please follow the installation instructions to get that accomplished. But looking at the 9590, we'll go back and forth here. Look, with the 95 or the 9990 at the head of the door, as I stated before, these guys noticed that when installing the Gap 90 solution, that the portion of the installation that goes on the soffit of the frame was interfering with closers, the installation of the closer arm. So instead of trying to make you work around that closer arm and have a product that wouldn't work and wouldn't be rateable, they just invented this product. And instead of having the ability to cover a 5/16 inch gap, these guys, once they created this product and got it patented, it's now able to cover a gap that's up to 1/2 inch. So whether your door is slightly slanted or if you just have a frame that's out and it no longer meets compliance, this now can move that door with the help of this intumescent and this gap solution, or this channel. It can clear a gap that's up to a 1/2 inch and put it back into compliance. The same thing with the 9590, going down and covering that gap that's at the floor of the door. You know, the maximum gap for a fire rated door from, I think, NFPA 80 is a maximum of 3/4 of an inch. And you may correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe it's 3/4 of an inch. This will accommodate a gap up to 1.5 inch maximum. So if you have a door that has a 1.5 inch undercut, this can accommodate for that undercut. Again, it's 90-minute rated. It's for use on UL 10B and UL 10C wood and hollow metal fire doors. You can modify it on site. So if you have doors that need to be cut down, if it's too, you know, if you have a door that's 3 foot or 2 foot 10 instead of 3 foot, you can cut it down. You can modify it and make it accommodate for that special size. With this, you get the end caps. You'll need to install those, but it creates the seal for that solution. Once heat is on this door, that intumescent that's inside here, you can see it at the bottom of the C channel, it will expand and cover that gap, allowing that door to meet those ratings. So some of the accessories that will come with the gap solutions, the door gap gauge. So if you're on site, Dave Thielen and I know this because we were recently on a site looking at some of the gaps that are in some of the doors in hospitals. You need a gap gauge to tell a customer or to show a customer that they are either in compliance or where they're in compliance, and also show them where they're out of compliance. And the door gap gauge will allow you to do that. It will come with some hinge shims, through bolts, strike shims. So that being said, Gap Solutions, to me, is a very innovative and creative way to help customers change the way that they normally look at a fire rated door. And as boring as it may sound, giving a customer the ability to create a solution to an opening in a hospital that they may have 600 fire rated openings or more, be able to create a solution that is not only economical, but also time saving and also labor saving. It's a great benefit to a customer, and it allows them to change the way that they normally look at fire rated doors and just being a problem child for whenever Joint Commission comes, to something that they can easily solve and easily move past in order to be recommissioned and change, the way that they process themselves in a hospital. And they can take that money and use it in other areas, especially in other areas that we all work in, as far as door hardware and that sort of thing. So some of the takeaways from the presentation: these guys are family owned, meaning that they take everything that they do personally. I mean, if you just look at some of the things that they provide, they don't just provide or meet the minimum. They provide a solution that exceeds the minimum, but gives you a chance to purchase that benefit at the same price that you would another manufacturer, or even better. And it gives you the ability to have a superior product at an economic price. They're service oriented. They look to serve you in every way that they can. I mean, the previous comment that was made falls into the same category as them being a service business. They want to treat you guys as if you are part of the family, because you are part of the family. We all work together, and we all look to make a change together. And they're invested in their business through people, operations, technology, and products. These guys want to provide a better customer experience. They want to provide a better product. They want to provide a new and innovative product, and they want to do all of that to where not only the current state of our industry is better for you, but also the future state of the industry is better for you, the end user, and also for them. So now we'll open it for questions. And if no questions, or if they've all been answered in the chat, I'll let you guys go. But with this, you can always reach out to NGP. I usually would put my name here, but I left Jeff's name here because that guy is very knowledgeable. He knows his stuff. He's the national sales guy for NGP, and he is superior at his job. And so thank you so much for allowing me to do this.
Justin.
Yes. Yeah, Jonathan.
I couldn't tell if I was on. That's all. It looked like it was still muted.
Do you have a question? Hey, thank you, Ali. If you guys don't have any questions, I'll let the presentation go. I appreciate y'all for stopping in, listening in, and thank you so much.